Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're doing something maybe a little unexpected, our source material. It's not some dense academic paper. It's actually an English language lesson called The Library Visit.
Yeah, sounds simple, right? But don't let that fool you. We think this little story is actually a really neat blueprint. Like, for super efficient, low-friction communication, how things should ideally work.
Exactly. So our mission today is to take this simple exchange. It's between a new library visitor, Tom, and a librarian, and really break it down. We're looking for the underlying structure, the communication hacks, if you will, the stuff that makes interactions smooth, even when there's a bit of process involved.
Right. We want to extract the operational strategy hidden in plain sight. The scenario starts with Tom, first time in the library, looking, and the text says, a little confused. That's the classic problem, isn't it? The new user facing an unfamiliar system.
And the original lesson, its stated goal was teaching students how to ask for information politely, which is fine, but we see a lot more going on than just manners.
Oh, absolutely. Politeness is sort of the oil in the machine, but the machine itself, the process, that's what we're digging into.
Okay, so let's jump straight to that first interaction, the very beginning.
Yeah, this is textbook proactive service. The librarian sees Tom looking lost. She doesn't wait. She steps right up, smiles, and hits him with, "Hello, can I help you?"
And that's huge, isn't it? The service provider initiates. She solves Tom's immediate confusion. Who do I even talk to? Before he has to figure it out. It lowers his cognitive load right away. He doesn't have to strategize his opening line.
Exactly. It's a critical first move, especially when you're onboarding someone, bringing them into a new system. Think about it in business. You want to minimize that time it takes for a user to get started, to take that first action. The librarian signals, I'm here, I know what I'm doing, let me help. It turns potential anxiety into, well, a guided process.
Right, it flips the whole dynamic instantly.
Yeah.
But Tom's response is also incredibly efficient. It's not rambling.
No, not at all. He nails it. He gives her two key pieces of information. Boom, boom.
Let's hear it again. What does he say?
He says, I want to borrow a book. That's the goal, right? But I don't have a library card. That's the obstacle.
Goal plus obstacle. It's just perfect, simple, direct. He tells the librarian what he wants and why he can't get it right now. Gives her everything she needs to jump straight to the solution. No need for 20 questions.
Totally. Think about how often that goes wrong in real life. People might just say, I don't have a card. And the librarian has to ask, okay, what did you need today? Or they might be vague, like, I need help with books. And again, you have to probe. Tom's structure just cuts through all that. It's a shortcut.
Okay, but let me push back a tiny bit here. Does this simple goal plus obstacle thing always work? Like, what if it's a really complicated situation? Say Tom was applying for some complex financial aid, not just a library card.
Yeah.
Would it still be the best way? Or does the detail just overwhelm that structure?
That's a fair question. I think the structure still holds, definitely, even in complexity. You might need to layer it a bit more, You'd still state your ultimate goal, I need to secure this funding, and then the primary obstacle and the issue is proving X eligibility requirement. You might add a preface like, okay, this is a bit complex, but my main goal is. The core idea remains. Clearly state where you are, the obstacle, and where you want to get to, the goal. It defines the gap that needs bridging.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. It's the framework, even if the content inside gets, well, denser. So the librarian gets this crystal clear request, which leads us right into the next phase.
Yeah.
Solving the problem, the operational bit.
And her immediate response is just brilliant for reducing stress. No problem, you can get one today. That phrase, no problem, it's like instant reassurance. It tells Tom, this isn't a big deal, we can handle this. It just dissolves any fear of being told no or facing a complicated hassle.
Yet, no problem is such a powerful little phrase in service, isn't it? It sort of preemptively smooths things over. But okay, they can't just hand out cards like candy. There had to be some accountability, right? What's the actual process?
Right. And she transitions smoothly. She says, please fill out this form. And importantly, she physically hands him the tools. A small form, a pen. Makes it tangible, less abstract. And the form asks for what? Name, address, and phone number.
Let's pause there. Those specific data points. In system design, that's always a balancing act, isn't it? What's the minimum information you actually need? Why those three? Name, address, phone number.
It's a great example of that balance. Ease versus accountability. Name, obviously, for identification. Address, usually to prove residency, maybe for mailing things. And phone number. That's the quick contact method if there's an issue like the book, the asset is overdue. It's basically the minimum viable data to track the borrowed item without making the sign-up feel like an interrogation.
Totally. It maps directly to modern digital stuff like signing up for an app. You want the absolute fewest fields possible to get the user activated. They're not asking for his life story here, just the essentials. And that minimal ask is probably why Tom later says.
Exactly. He finishes the form, hands it back, the librarian processes it quickly, and we get that immediate gratification.
Right. Tom gets the card.
Yeah.
And his reaction, that's the money quote for any system designer, he says, wow, that was easy. If your user feels it was easy, quick, painless, you've pretty much nailed it. You've designed a low-friction experience.
Yeah, the goodwill is established. He's happy. He's got his card. But the interaction isn't quite over. A successful system isn't just about the entry point. It's also about setting expectations. And this is where the librarian cleverly introduces the rules of the game.
Yes. The timing here is really interesting, isn't it? She gives him the card first, the reward. Then, after he's feeling good, she tells him the key operating rule. You can borrow books and return them in 2 weeks.
It's super strategic. Give the reward, reinforce the positive outcome. You're now a member. Success. And then, while he's in that positive, receptive state, deliver the necessary information, the deadline. It avoids making the user feel burdened by rules before they even get the benefit. It's not, okay, here are all the things you can't do. It's, here's your card. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, return books in 2 weeks.
So the card is the carrot, definitely. And the rule gets delivered while he's still munching on it, basically. Smart sequencing. And the immediate result. Tom uses his new card straight away. He borrows a book, something about travel, the text says. Mission accomplished.
Okay, so we've dissected the process, the flow, but let's circle back quickly to what the original lesson was explicitly teaching. Politeness. We said it's the oil in the machine. How does that play out here? It's efficient, sure, but does it feel good?
Right, the human touch. The lesson highlights Tom saying, thank you for your help. That formal acknowledgement. He recognizes someone helped him.
And the librarian's reply is equally important for closing the loop. You're very welcome. Enjoy your reading. These aren't just empty phrases, are they? They take what could be a purely transactional, mechanical thing, fill form, get card, and turn it into a genuinely positive human interaction that builds connection.
And connection leads to loyalty, right? The ultimate emotional takeaway. The source actually notes Tom leaves with a big smile, and he's thinking, I love this place. That's the jackpot for any service provider, any organization.
Absolutely. That feeling, I love this place, that's the direct result of everything working together. The clear process, the efficiency, the proactive help, and the warmth, the politeness. They didn't just get a new user, they created an advocate, someone with genuine positive feelings. The system was so smooth, so pleasant, he actually loved the experience of signing up for a library card.
So when we boil this whole deep dive down, what's the takeaway for you listening? Whether you're, I don't know, designing a workflow for your team or crafting a sales pitch or even just figuring out how to ask your boss for something. There seems to be a clear playbook here.
I think so, yeah. It really comes down to a few things. Clear, structured communication. Lead with your goal, then state your obstacle. That's number one. Then, if you're the one providing help, jump on diffusing anxiety, that no problem approach. Be proactive, and critically think about the sequence. Deliver the reward, the positive outcome, before you lay out the rules or requirements.
That seems to be the blueprint for making interactions feel easy, frictionless, all extracted from a very simple story about going to the library.
Okay, so here's the final thought we want to leave you with, a little provocation. Remember, Tom walked in confused. He walks out with a card, a book about travel, and a 2-week deadline. That initial easy interaction wasn't just an endpoint, it was a starting point.
Right. The simple act of getting the card activated 2 journeys, didn't it? An intellectual one with the travel book and a procedural one, that commitment to return it in 2 weeks.
Exactly. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? That smooth, low-friction first step. It enabled him to start something potentially bigger. The travel book might inspire him. The deadline teaches responsibility within the system. What complex, longer journeys for your customers, your employees, even yourself are being enabled or maybe disabled by how simple or how complicated that very first interaction is.
If that first visit had been a nightmare, he might have just walked out, right? Never borrowed the book, never started that journey. So how easy are your starting points? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
See you next time.